Hey, welcome to the Rig and Farm YouTube channel. I'm back at the farm, day 2 of attempting to burn that pile of brush and logs and twigs and stumps and all that other good stuff left over from when the loggers came in and cut down our trees. I still have the ballast box attached to the rear of the tractor. It's currently empty, and the last time I was up here that proved to be a pretty bad thing. I'm going to gather up a bunch of large rocks that are here on the property, and throw them into the ballast box, add a little extra weight to the rear, and see how it helps. Once I get the fire going, and hopefully it will actually go this time, I'm going to put on our brand new canopy that we got for our tractor. I don't have any other specific plans while I'm up here, but make sure you keep watching the video and find out what I get accomplished today. Well, that should easily add a few 100 pounds to the back of the tractor. I guess we'll find out how it goes once we use the grapple. Before I start playing with fire, I want to give you an update on how effective that ballast box was. I came up to the garden area and I went over to that giant tree stump that I had a hard time with before. When I just had the box blade attached to the back of the tractor, I could barely pick up that giant stump. With the ballast box, on the other hand, I was able to pick it up several feet off the ground with no issues. I am actually shocked at how much more effective I am with the grapple when this ballast box is on, obviously when it's full of rocks and not empty. Without further ado, let's set some stuff on fire. That's looking a little bit more like what I wanted. Having a smaller pile dry up in the hot sun after a couple days has clearly made a positive impact. It's going really well over here, so I'm gonna try to assist some of the other areas without throwing my glove down. Oh my goodness. Hopefully that'll catch. It's not quite as ablaze as it was several minutes ago, but it's still burning nice and hot. I'm going to go down the driveway near the home site where I have the tractor canopy, and I'm going to go ahead and get that set up, and I'll check up here periodically to make sure nothing crazy happens. I'm pretty confident it's not going to spread because it's having a hard enough time spreading from one end of the pile to the other, let alone the rest of the forest. I'll go ahead and take my chances. Famous last words. This is what was inside the box. It's got the canopy, a couple arms, a bracket, bag full of nuts and bolts and washers, and it also came with a set of instructions. I'm going to go ahead and look over those right now and get started. After looking at the instructions on how to install the canopy, I realized you need a drill. Not only do you need the drill through the canopy itself to get it mounted to the bracket, you also have to drill through part of the bracket because it's universal and that's the only way they can guarantee it'll fit. That's what happens when you get a more affordable canopy. It's more work for you. Got a couple U-bolts here. I got one of them up. It doesn't feel very sturdy, but I guess we'll find out what happens soon. I went ahead and put the brackets on anyway because I figured why the heck not. I didn't bring a drill with me, so I didn't drill the brackets to where they'll actually be stable. I got them as tight as I could, but they're still a little bit loose when you apply pressure to them. Hopefully they don't swing down and hit me in the face or anything while I'm driving the tractor. I'm thinking about adding some zip ties for a little extra stability until I get that done. You know, I think I'm going to do that right now. Alright, I got the zip ties on there, and the brackets appear to be relatively level. I'm not super worried about it being 100% level. As long as it gives me a little bit of shade, I don't care. Between the ROPS and the bracket, I had to use 2 zip ties because the zip ties were just not long enough. Luckily, I had quite a few up here. I just put way longer on that than I'd like to admit. Let's go check on that fire and see what's going on. It's still smoking a little bit, but I don't really see any active fire. Looks way better than it did the other day when we were out here. In the last vlog, we mentioned that we're getting a soil delivery, which was actually scheduled for today. But after our horrible experience with this fire, we went ahead and called and rescheduled for a week from tomorrow. I'm hoping that I can at least get this pile burned completely and down to ash before that delivery comes, so that we can till the ash in with the soil and have a decent foundation for our garden. If you haven't already, subscribe and click the notification bell so you can get updates when we post new videos and you can find out what's going on with this project. I still have about an hour and a half until I need to leave and get kids from school. I'm not really sure what to do now. Maybe I'll collect some more dry brush and try to get the fire going some more. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I added more of the little paraffin wax fire starters and a bunch of dry pine straw, and we're getting some fire. Hopefully all of the attempts we're making are at least helping dry out that wood. It is a nice, hot, sunny, dry day. Hopefully that'll improve the conditions for the fire. We're also getting a really nice breeze that's providing oxygen to help fuel that fire. I'll let it go for a little bit longer and see what happens before I leave. Part of me wants that fire to really get going and completely consume that brush pile, even after I leave. The other part of me, and the slightly more responsible part of me, wants the fire to go out before I leave so I feel really confident that I'm not going to burn the forest down. I currently have this 3-point quick hitch system set up and it's holding the ballast box in place. It's not really ideal. The kind of bad thing about this setup is that it's a category 2 quick hitch and all of our implements are category 1. The difference is the size of the pins that you connect. It's really strange that all of the quick hitch systems are designed for category 2. Most people who are using these systems have category 1 implements. With that said, you have to get bushings for all of your implements to make the connection points fit snugly in this quick hitch system. The ballast box is only putting downward pressure from gravity on the quick hitch system, so I'm not really concerned about not fitting properly, but once we get the box blade, the tiller, and other things that are going to be pulling in lots of directions, that's going to be bad if we don't have those bushings on there. I looked everywhere for some affordable bushings because you have to get them for each implement. I did find some and I ordered several sets, but unfortunately it takes time to ship them. No place local had an affordable price on them, so I figured I'd rather just wait a few extra days and be able to get twice as many for the same price. The system's pretty simple. You have the quick hitch set up just like you would any of the other implements, because it is an implement. How it works is you have these levers right here, you pull up to unlock, and this piece right here opens up so that you can drop off and pick up your implements by the pins. When you lock it, this will hold the pin in place and prevent it from falling out. Again, this is a category 1 pin and the category 2 opening. So these bushings that we're going to be adding to it will make this thicker. It'll actually nest perfectly in this space here. The one issue we've run into with it is that the 3-point hitch only lowers so much, so it makes it very difficult to just pick up and drop off implements. We need to put them on top of something. I'm hoping that a pallet will raise the implements just high enough to where the 3 contact points on the quick hitch system can grab underneath, get those pins, and then when I raise the 3-point hitch, it'll get it and I can lock it into place and it won't go anywhere and I can use the implements as intended. I'm going to wait until I have those bushings to test it out because I don't want to spend all of that time attaching an implement just to not be able to use it properly, or safely for that matter. I still have about another hour before I need to leave. I do have some other errands I could probably run before I pick up the kids, like wash my car because it's pretty filthy. Driving up here definitely is not good for the cleanliness of the exterior of one's vehicle. I also probably use a little grocery shopping. I don't need eggs, that's for sure. We have lots and lots of eggs. Our chickens are doing an amazing job at producing eggs for us. They're so delicious. We watch a lot of cooking shows both on Food Network and YouTube. Whenever we watch somebody use eggs in a recipe and they crack it open, we think to ourselves, that thing they're making would taste a lot better and be more nutritious if they just used our eggs. We're actually running a special on our eggs for new customers. Right now we're selling 1.5 dozen eggs for the price of a dozen. Go ahead and send us a message through our Facebook page if you're in the North Georgia area and would like some delicious fresh eggs at a discount. Again, that's for new customers only, so if you've already purchased eggs from us, you still have to pay full price for a dozen. We'll definitely work with you on delivery of the eggs if you're not too close to us. I drive all over the North Atlanta area and would be happy to meet you somewhere that's convenient for both of us. Another good reason to follow us on Facebook is we're about to post a sales flyer for a plant pre-sale. We're going to be selling a variety of potted plants, such as tomatoes and peppers and flowers and other things. Definitely look out for that if you're interested in buying something. We're actually going to be offering 2 options for our potted plants. You can go for a standard pot that you can put on your back porch or your deck or wherever you like to put potted plants. And we also have biodegradable bags that the plants are potted in. Those are really great because you can actually plant them directly into the ground or your raised bed and never have to worry about digging them up because that bag will just decompose and actually help feed your plant. We have a variety of heirloom tomatoes and chili peppers and other things, so definitely watch out for that list because we've got some really great stuff for you. That fire must be doing pretty well because I see lots of smoke over that hill there. It's been really great having the tractor up here and using that as a means of transportation from one end of the property to the other. But at the same time, a little walking isn't bad. I could use the cardio, especially walking up this hilly terrain and uneven ground. I'm thinking the path that I'm walking on right now, I could actually turn into a road in the near future. I have the grapple on the tractor right now that I was using to move logs and branches and other debris into that burn pile. I'm gonna have to switch over to the bucket anyway when we get our soil delivery. So when those bushings come in and I'm able to get the box blade back on the tractor and get the bucket connected, I'll go ahead and start grading and smoothing out that little road area so that we can actually drive the tractor from where I normally park it to this area without having to go all the way down the driveway and past the gate. The fire is looking pretty good. On our way up the other day, we stopped at the place we're going to be getting our soil and we took a sample. We ran several tests on it yesterday. We tested for pH, potash, phosphorus, and nitrogen, all things that are very crucial to successfully growing any plant. The pH level is about where we wanted it, but when we mix it in with this very acidic soil that we have here, it's going to make it more acidic than we want. But the ash will actually add some alkalinity to that and hopefully even things out a bit. Once we get the soil and the ash all tilled into the ground, we'll take another sample and see how that goes. There was a decent amount of potash in there. Again, once we mix it in with the soil, who knows what it's going to be. The phosphorus and nitrogen levels are pretty low, but we're hoping once we add in this ash and get a few other amendments added to the soil, we'll have it exactly as we need it and get those plants into the ground and have our garden looking wonderful. We've been starting our seeds indoors with our indoor growing setup and then moving them out to the greenhouse once they've outgrown that area. Hopefully we'll be able to get the garden set up really soon and get them moved up here so that they can live a happy life outdoors as intended. We have some really exciting news that I forgot to tell you about earlier. We received our beehive in the mail yesterday. It comes as a kit and requires a lot of assembly before we can move it up here, so we'll definitely be taking lots of video of that and posting it soon. It's the end of March right now and our bees are supposed to be delivered sometime in April. Apparently they give you 1 day notice of when you'll receive it so that you can be there to receive your bees when the mail carrier comes. Hopefully it's a day that I can actually be up here, because if I'm waiting and then have to leave to get kids from school, our bees won't get delivered and possibly die. That would be very horrible. We're really excited to get the bees up here, not only for the honey that they're going to produce, but also for the pollination that they'll provide for all of our flowers and other plants in the garden. We'll definitely be posting lots of bee videos in the near future. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already so you can check those out. This fire is doing pretty well. Let's go take a closer look. Yep, that's definitely a fire. It's definitely smoke blowing all in my face. I don't know if you guys realize what I go through to make these videos. I will tell you that doing things with a camera in one hand is a lot more difficult than without. I really enjoy making these videos. I've always been a huge fan of watching movies and had actually considered going to film school when I was younger. I always loved watching the making of and behind the scenes stuff for different movies and TV shows. This YouTube channel gives me the opportunity to film, edit, do a couple little effects here and there, and then share with the world. I really love meeting new people. I've always enjoyed hearing other people's perspectives and experiences because I'm only one person and I don't know everything. I love learning from others and getting a slightly different point of view. We can use that information to learn and make ourselves the best version that we can possibly be. I also really love sharing my experiences. I'm almost 40 years old and have accomplished quite a few things, experienced a lot of things, done a lot of really stupid things as well. Sharing some of the stories is a great time. We started on this farming adventure over a year ago and we've come quite a long way since then, but we also have a very long way to go. I often get frustrated and disappointed and upset, but at the end of the day, I really love what I do. I really enjoy getting on the tractor, working with my hands, taking care of animals, helping Ashley plant stuff, because I've never really done that before. Ashley has a green thumb, and she has taught me so much about gardening and plants in general that I feel like I could actually do some of this stuff on my own without her help. But it's a good idea to leave it up to the expert. Another really fun thing about farming is playing with fire. Once we get the ground ready for the garden, we're gonna put some fence around it to protect from wildlife. We have a lot of deer up here. I see them pretty frequently as I drive up to the property. We need to make sure that we're protecting our garden from them because they will definitely eat a lot of the crops. There are also rabbits and squirrels and other things that we need to protect our garden from. The garden is definitely a priority right now because we are at the mercy of the season. The stuff for the animals is a little bit different because we don't have a lot of the animals we want to get, so there's no reason to rush. Our chickens aren't going to be up here until we're living up here, so we still have several more months to get their area set up as well. We still need to clear that area and put up a fence and build them a brand new coop. I'm planning on working on an original coop design later this week. I want to build it almost like a tiny house, minus the plumbing and electrical. I want to have a nice sturdy floor, frame the walls, put a nice pitched roof on there, make sure it's weatherproof, take all of the things that I love about our current coop and the things I'd change and put them into this design. I'm probably going to get a rough draft going and then I'll have Ashley take a look at it, give her feedback, make some adjustments because I always overlook something and she does a great job of steering me in a better direction. Every single time, anything I do, she always makes improvements and I love that about our relationship. She points out the things that she likes about it, and if she sees any areas that could use some improvement, she points it out. I totally embrace that feedback and make adjustments because I want our designs to be the best they can be. She's a great partner both in life and as a business partner. I can never tell you enough how thankful I am and how lucky I am to have Ashley in my life. I'm really happy this fire is going much better than it did the other day when we were here. I think I'm going to go ahead and walk back down to the car now. I'm going to get a sip of my water and hydrate, and then I'm going to take one of the pallets we have and see if I can somehow get the box blade underneath the pallet without hurting myself. It does weigh a couple 100 pounds and I'm not that strong. I might be able to use a lever or some other system to kind of wedge it in there and push it up. We'll see how it goes. If this video never gets posted, it's because I killed myself trying to lift that box blade onto a pallet. So if you're watching this right now, I'm still alive. It's not 100% level with the ground, but it's on the pallet. It is raised up a little bit. Hopefully that's all I need for it to connect to the quick hitch system. Guess we'll find out once those bushings come in and I give it a try. And by the way, I didn't die. Well, I have a little time to kill. I'm going to go ahead and try my theory about whether or not having the implement on higher ground will actually allow me to disconnect it easily. Conveniently, there's this big stump right here, and I think the ballast box will be able to balance on there. We'll find out. If the next video clip is me with the tractor being completely destroyed, you'll know that it didn't go well. It didn't go exactly as planned. I think if the stump was actually a little bit wider and could have supported it better, it would have been just fine. The good news is, it came off pretty easily. The bad news is, it has lots of heavy rocks in it. I'm not looking forward to having to glove up and take all the rocks out just so I can set the ballast box back up. Yet another learning experience here on Riggin Farm. Well, that's the problem right there. It's not exactly level, is it? Check out all those rocks I had in the ballast box. It's about time for me to leave the farm, so I'm going to check on the fire before I head out, make sure nothing crazy is going on so I feel nice and confident that I'm not going to start a forest fire. There is still a little bit of fire, but I think that's okay because I have a really nice break around here to where it's pretty sure it's not going to catch anything else. Not only that, but it's such a pain for any of this stuff to burn anyway that I don't think it's going to be a problem. I've learned a lot on this farm over the last several months. I've had a lot of failures, had a lot of disasters or catastrophes, or maybe I'm over-exaggerating the use of those words. There have been a lot of things that I've learned from. A lot of things were a lot more difficult than I thought they would be. While driving over some brush, I yanked the electrical wiring from the third function out of the tractor, preventing the grapple from functioning. And you know what? We got it working again. I figured out how to fix it, got it working again, broke it again. The other day when Ashley was up here with me, the two of us got it working. I was able to have an extra set of hands and eyes, make sure that we had the wiring in a really good position so it wouldn't get caught on anything again. And now it's working great. I used the grapple today and it had absolutely no problems. And that failure taught me something. I learned a little bit more about how my tractor works and a little bit more about electrical stuff in general. And I'm going to be able to use that information in the future so I can be better. I thought catching stuff on fire would be easy. Boy, was I wrong. Coming back a couple days later after we let the stuff dry out a little bit more, adding a little bit more dry brush and stuff onto it, I got it working. Now, this pile is almost gone. Hopefully it'll continue to burn after I leave, and I'll come back and have a pile of ash that I can spread onto this earth and make it more fertile and ready for plants. We had our shipping container disaster as well. I don't know what I've learned from that just yet, other than maybe to be patient and wait for the ground to be dry before expecting a giant 8,000-pound shipping container to be delivered in the mud. I've learned that you need proper ballast on the back of your tractor when lifting really heavy stuff with your bucket or grapple. I could have tipped over the tractor and really hurt myself or even died when I was moving the stumps a few weeks ago. I got really lucky, and as my life flashed before my eyes, I've realized how important it was to get rear ballast for my tractor. So I bought the ballast box and now I don't have those same issues anymore. There are going to be many more disappointing and frustrating days to come. You guys will be able to see and hear it all. But another thing I know is there are going to be a lot of successes along the way as well. And that's what makes doing this so rewarding. The successes we have on this farm are going to make it all worthwhile. We're hoping that we'll be able to profit enough to where we don't ever have to work another job ever again. We'll be able to live a free life where we're our own bosses and the only ones we have to make happy are our customers, which we enjoy doing, so it's not a problem. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. Please give it a thumbs up and comment below if you have any words of encouragement or feedback or anything else you'd like to share with us. We respond to every comment on our videos, and we absolutely love interacting with our viewers. Please subscribe if you haven't already so you can follow us along on our journey. We'll see you next time. Bye.